support this bill, but in many ways there's a couple of funny things about it. In many ways it's a missed opportunity. Raising the jurisdiction certainly provides access to justice, or fills what the regulatory impact statement calls the justice gap, whereby going to the district court, where lawyers are pretty, not essential, but pretty handy, the costs of that are difficult to meet, whereas in the Disputes Tribunal, lawyers in fact aren't allowed, except in very limited circumstances, and so that will increase access to justice in some ways. However, the difficulties once we get to $60,000 with the Disputes Tribunal jurisdiction are its high degree of informality. For example, there is no requirement that a person who is essentially a judge, making a order in respect of that amount, has legal qualifications. Whilst most, if not all, appointments are in fact legally qualified, it may well be time to reflect that in the legislation. And in fact, the legislation itself does not require a disputes tribunal referee to decide a case according to the law. A disputes tribunal referee can decide a case in accordance with equity and fairness, but with regard to the law. So it's a pretty interesting situation where you can be in a contractual dispute with, say, your builder or whatever, for $60,000, and the Disputes Tribunal referee says, I've looked at the law and I've had a good regard to it, but I don't agree with it, so you lose. Now that's a matter of concern, but you don't have a right of appeal. Only for essentially a breach of natural justice, a failure in the procedure itself, would you get a right of appeal. So these are all things which there's an opportunity to tidy up. Rights of appeal, qualifications of dispute tribunal referees, and the need at this level to decide cases on the basis of the law and not well-meaning reckons. Although, to be fair, I'm pretty sure dispute tribunal referees do try to apply the law wherever they can. The other thing that could be tidied up here is the jurisdiction of the Disputes Tribunal itself in terms of the subject matter. It's got a relatively narrow jurisdiction in respect of contractual disputes and some tort disputes. It can consider car crashes, basic negligence, but it can't consider economic torts or torts of, for example, defamation or nuisance. It can't consider a civil trespass or questions of title to land or rights over land. Can't consider any questions of equity or trusts. All of those things are things that can crop up just as easily, and people have just as much access to justice issues there as anywhere else. And so I'm hopeful that we'll be able to have a good look at this when we come to Select Committee, which I'm sure we're excited about as well. And the other thing is this, there's actually a really strange thing here. The Minister in this bill has imposed, or intends to impose, a $468 filing fee for the claim over $30,000, I think it is. You know what? You can file a claim for up to $350,000 in the district court for $260. So there's a real mismatch when you can go to the district court for $260, but the Disputes Tribunal, which doesn't apply the law and doesn't have a judge, is $468 as well. Now, the other point here is this. In the district court and every other court, if you can't afford the filing fee, you can apply for a waiver. But in the Disputes Tribunal, you can't. So if you're going to put up a barrier of $468, you need to be able to have a hardship waiver as well, because there'll be plenty of people who don't have $500 to front up with at the Disputes Tribunal. So the committee has a lot of work to do.
Yeah, that is actually a pretty good point there.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, I know about the Disputes Tribunal, but it's like basically like the fee, it's like $45 and then $90 were the ones I knew, which were the lower end of the scale, because like it's $35 for like the first 1,000, and then from 1,000 up to 5 or 10 or something, it's $90. Yeah, it's but no, it's interesting, that you can have a hardship fee waiver in the district court, and I also know you can have that in the high court, because there are some situations where you can't take an issue to the district court, such as anything to do with MSD. If you need to take something very seriously, you've got to leapfrog to the high court. And I've heard there are some high court judges who, at least thank goodness, take sympathy on the win sort of stuff, because some of the stuff that ends up in the high court shouldn't actually end up in the high court. But, we know what MSD are like. Act now, think later, wait till when shit blows up to beyond a reasonable point.
Yeah, I mean, fuck. I mean, that's what I find annoying, because it's like MSD, like if you make one tiny little mistake, they're on your ass, they're cutting your shit, you've got to...
Oh, you don't even have to make the mistake.
Well, actually, yeah, exactly. You don't even have to make the mistake.
You've just got to be accused of the mistake. Punishment brick walls coming down. But if they make a mistake in the other direction...
Oh, yeah, now you've got to fucking jump through hoops still to fix their mistake.
Yeah, I saw one on the Wins group actually today about her child support payments from her ex had been double reported.
Oh, so they think that she's gotten double the pay.
Yeah, so she's reported a payment, and
Yeah, right.
IRB's reported the payment, and they've doubled the payment together, and they've put the payment through separately, not put it through together. And yeah, it's
So now they're trying to be like, you
like,
get too
we
much
at
money.
MSD are right, you are wrong.
Yeah, they always fucking think they're right.
Yeah, and it's like something I've said. Like I've had one in a situation where you've broken the law, and you're telling me I'm wrong.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I remember sitting there saying, so you're allowed to break the law? Sweet. I'm garnishing 100% of your wages because you have given permission for me to break the law.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, no. Go, yeah. You know, it's one law for all, not one law for beneficiaries and another law of sovereign immunity for case managers.
Oh, nah, yeah, it's so fucked. I mean, I hate when they do that shit.
Because all they do is make problems. But, you know, I mean, that's wins for you. You know, when did they actually help people?
I mean, no, to be fair, they do help because they help give me money so that I can pay my rent.
Yeah.
But they make being poor feel like something that you should be punished for actively, which I don't like.
Yeah.
I'm thankful that we live in a country that has this because holy shit, could you imagine living in a country without it?
Oh,
because I couldn't.
We would have, say, the terrace and Lincoln Key and Willis Street filled with homeless people. Frank Kitts Park will be, what do you call it, Nicola Willisville, named after Hooverville. You know? I mean, this is, you know, the botanical gardens will be filled with tents.
Exactly.
You know?